We started in 2018 and there was no clarity for the first 2 years. The biggest gap that we saw was that nobody's really targeting the mother, but nobody's really talking to her. New to this world, I had left my family business, moved to Delhi, and we started working on Mama and Peaches. So we realized that there is a new India, there is a market that wants to spend. Of course, they don't want to go over the top.
Only real life experiences, when you go through it, teaches you that. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. But ultimately, when I zoom out, I do not really care of where I am, where Jay has reached or where that friend has reached. A lot of my friends are doing extremely well, and probably started at the same time when I did. But never have I ever felt.
हमारे एक family friend है, and they have a huge factory, it's a ceramic factory. Their sons, and children rather, came back from US, someone from London, पढ़ के अच्छे से वापस आए. मैंने कहा जी सांप बन के बैठेंगे. But hello and welcome to the J-Way. Today I'm joined by Varun Gai. He's founder of the brand Mama and Peaches. The brand operates in one of the most sensitive categories. It caters to mothers and babies. A category like this needs more trust than marketing. And that's what exactly we are looking to do today. To understand from Varun what kind of thinking, discipline, or patience is required to build a brand like this. Varun, great to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
How are you doing today?
Very well. How are you?
Good, thanks. What was your intent or purpose behind building a brand like Mama and Peaches?
Kids wear brands start with the same intent, is when you become a parent yourself. So that is the first time you actually enter the world of this category and realize what is missing. So when we became parents back in 2017, we felt there was a need to enter the market with a different model. And that's where we started Mama and Peaches, not as a kids wear brand that is now, but as a subscription box model. Okay. And we felt that new parents, especially in a growing India, everybody is now, with more urbanization, living in single family units. There's a lot more requirement, a lot more help needed in terms of understanding how to parent, what kind of products you need. So that is how we started, and we wanted to target a new diaspora of parents, of modern parents, and introduced as a subscription box targeted to mothers.
What is a subscription box?
So, subscription as a service, when we started at that time, was a monthly package where a mother could subscribe to this surprise box, which was tailored and curated around her stage of being the mother. So it started from pregnancy. So if you were pregnant, you got a different box. If you had a newborn, you had a different box. And we sort of divided that into 7 to 8 packages and tried to deliver an experience that at that moment would make a lot of sense to the mother.
Okay.
And this had a mix of products from toys to utilities, clothing. So it was a complete care package, and the idea was to promote gifting around it, and how new parents, especially new moms, go through a lot of issues and problems, and they need all the support. So this was one way of telling your friend or your sister or whoever that it's a great gift, because everybody gifts the baby but nobody really gifts the mom. So that was where this idea came from.
When you started this, did you find a gap in the market?
The biggest gap that we saw was that nobody is really targeting the mother. Everybody's selling to the mother that get this for your son, get that. But nobody's really talking to her. But that was the key point where we felt this could be something different, because everybody is selling to babies. Everybody's selling the same thing, but nobody's really targeting the mother. And that's where we started. And of course, as any business is, it evolves over time and you learn things.
What was the most challenging or uncertain phase that you went through when you started this, right from subscription box?
Right. However, I was new to this world. I had left my family business, moved to Delhi for this entire purpose, and that's when we had our daughter, and we started working on Mama and Peaches. And somehow people living outside an online world assume that running an online business is very easy. And you just go online, you have a website, people will come, people will buy. But I think that was the phase that where I realized that it's not as easy as I thought, and even getting one sale can really you'll need to try really hard. You need to know, you need to have skills, you need to know different
Right.
techniques, and like you said in the opening of the podcast, that it's all about trust. So we completely missed that angle, that we just assume that everything will just flow. We list things on marketplaces, and depending on friends and family to support you, to tell about your brand. So yeah, the first 2 years were heartbreaking, and not only uncertain but very tough.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough. So,
Mm.
how did you move forward without full clarity?
So I'll be honest here, we started in 2018, and there was no clarity for the first 2 years. Kept trying to push this side of business, which ultimately failed in India completely. Subscription as a business completely failed. So
Okay.
a lot of startups were doing this, whether they were beauty, gifting, home decor.
Right.
Nobody could scale up that business,
Right.
because subscription in India, imagine selling something as a surprise box, and you're talking about trust. So here people don't even trust you, they even when they know what they're buying. So
Right.
we were selling something that we didn't even show.
Mm.
So honestly, entering 2019, we decided to shut down. And I'll give you the honest answer, because
Yeah.
there is nothing I learned or I acquired a new skill that things started working. It's just that when we decided to shut down, COVID hit.
Mm.
And that actually was a lifeline. It suddenly picked up things more than ordinary for us, because we were back then in a home office. So our we did not have to be mobile.
Right.
So I was actually one of the few people in the country who could ship. And that's where we actually got a breakthrough. And whatever we had, we were able to sell. We reached tens and thousands of new parents. And that's where our journey began. Yeah.
During the COVID phase, because you were at home and you were already into that business.
Yeah.
That phase was probably the time that gave you a steady pace where you could pick it up from there and take it to the next level. Am I
Yes,
right if we
yes.
say it that way?
Absolutely.
Okay.
See, there were more challenges coming our way. We didn't see it at that point.
Okay.
But at least we got some momentum.
Okay.
We started becoming a known brand. We had serious interest from even investors. There were a lot of customers talking about us. We saw a lot of growth on Instagram. So we thought, okay, this is good. This is working. And then until at this point, we were a marketplace. So we went from a subscription business to a marketplace, because
Right.
now we are the only people shipping in India. So we started connecting a lot of brands across India and said, why don't you sell with us? And suddenly, from selling subscription boxes, we went to selling wallpapers and furniture and strollers, toys, clothing, whatever. So that was working very well until you realize that as a marketplace, margins are very thin. If you're a brand selling with me, you'll probably give me a 30-35%, maybe best case scenario 40%. However, running an online business in India is way more expensive than just this margin cutting through. So then we did build the business, we did scale it up to a decent level, but we had to pivot. And this is how most marketplaces across India, across the world have done. They start, you build your network, you build a distribution, you acquire the customers, and then you launch your own private labels.
Yes.
And that's where the margin play is. So,
Right.
so this went on for a year and a half. And then we started. This also gave us a lot of insight into what customers think, what category is moving for us, what category is not moving for us. Because, a lot of things you do in business are assumption. So this became our playground, and we understood what's working. And that's where we started introducing our own private label products. Private label being Mama and Peaches. Yeah, that was
Right.
always the idea, to transition into a complete D2C brand and not be a marketplace. However, this pivot took at least a year to actually fulfill, because it's an ongoing engine. You can't just stop one day and say, okay, I'm not doing this, I'm going to do this. So you have to sort of transition and slowly let go of vendors and then build our own business. And of course, clothing was a no-brainer. I come from that background. My family background belongs to manufacturing. I come from Ludhiana, so it was an easy entry to start as private label.
So, how did you build trust of your consumers, especially mothers? If they're using their product for their babies, it's out of trust, obviously.
Yep.
So, how do you manage to do that?
no matter how much you do, whatever tricks or marketing, hacks you may have, but when it comes to mothers, the only way to build trust or any business, I'd say, is the product. If your product is good, friends tell their friends. In our world where mothers are anyway going through a very sensitive phase in their life when they have a child,
Right.
so they are very communicative with other mothers. This is an insight we got while building businesses, because we are a part of many WhatsApp groups. We run communities on Facebook, we run communities on Instagram, and we talk about a lot of things not related to the product. So even our content, you'll see, will be around supporting the mother or talking about, even it could be a funny thing, but it's not hard selling to you on your face. And that is how consumers slowly start connecting with the brand, because you're not constantly selling to them. And of course, there are tons of other things that we have done now, with me coming on to the screen or becoming the face of the brand, creating content. Having a personal brand allows these customers or these mothers to actually message me directly and say that, okay, I did not get my refund, and I'm able to quickly turn that around for them. Or it could be anything, I didn't get my product. And, Indian consumer is mostly worried about these things. That, okay, I ordered, but I didn't come to know. I didn't get an order confirmation. Or where is my money? I have not got a refund. You're a fraud brand. So all these things happen. So I think when people see you online, and of course, we've been very vulnerable, authentic about our story, what we've done with me and my wife, how we started this. So I think most parents really connect with that.
I think back in 2016, 17, or even 18, there were not many brands that were catering to babies. I mean, mothers obviously not, but babies for sure, except a few big giants that we know of. But then the problem in India was that you were not getting, or you were not able to find good product. Even let's say if it's maybe a baby cream. I mean, sometimes I remember me and my wife, we ordered from Amazon USA because we wanted something specific and we were not able to find it here. Even initially when we started, even diapers, we were like, let's get diapers from that place because they are better. So those kind of things. So and what I'm getting from you is that you didn't only rely to the learnings that you got in phases, but you were also more so instinctive about doing certain things in your business or while building the brand. Am I right? And how would you explain that? What kind of instinct, or what did you follow on with?
So honestly, this whole business was built on instinct. Nothing else. It's just a hunch that, okay, this may work. Even today, if we are building something, we're creating a design, we're creating a product, it's total hunch, hoping that other consumers or other parents are just like us. So we are hoping that this customer understands that I'm going to pay 200-300 rupees extra for this, let's say a baby romper, because I'm going to get great quality. This did not exist before 2016-15 maybe. We are the new age parents, right? So we came in thinking, okay, we don't want cheap, we want good for a baby. Right. It doesn't matter even if this doesn't get used after 6 months or after a year, right? But we as kids were passed on clothes of our elders and said, so that mentality changed.
Yes.
And that's where I think our instincts plus this timing worked for us. So we realized that there is a new India, there is a market that wants to spend. Of course, they don't want to go over the top. After all, money is money. Nobody wants to spend 2,000 rupees on a romper that won't last you after 3 months. But they still care about what's touching their children's skin. Like you mentioned, now there are tons of brands doing baby creams, oils, diaper. And all of these flourishing brands have one thing in common, is high quality or sustainability or gentle on skin, right? 10 years back, it was more like I'm getting 3 pieces in 999 or I'm getting this 5-piece bundle deal, right? And so that I think completely changed when we started, and we're still seeing that change, right? Probably tier 2, tier 3 is still, they are very price conscious. We get it every day from tons of comments that, okay, why is it so expensive? Or I'm not going to spend 1,000 rupees on a baby romper or something like that. Right. But we honestly try to create a good product. We are not cutting corners. And again, this is all on instinct even today.
What is your target group?
Where you can get the higher segment as well as the middle class or the upper middle class. whatever you may want to call it. So that is our segment. We're definitely not competing with brands on Amazon who are selling. We can't even make that product in that price. They're selling it at that price. So we are not competing with them. And that is why we have positioned ourselves on a slightly premium side, which is where mass premium is what we call it.
I think I called you as well a
Mm.
little while back. I was in Mumbai.
Yeah.
And I was speaking to some random person. I met him first time actually. We were talking about a few brands, some protein brand. And I just told him, there's a friend of mine, Varun, he has a brand called Mama and Peaches. And he's like, Varun Ghai? I was like, you know him? He's like, no, I don't know him. I follow him, but I see his videos. So I was very impressed that, that your content is so good that someone random guy who I met in Mumbai knows about you because of your content. And that's how he knows your brand.
Yeah.
So you've cracked a beautiful thing
Yeah.
that as a founder, you need to come out and face the camera and talk about things in a way where you obviously talk about maybe your product also, but emotionally connect with people. Okay, and this guy was probably 23 years old, okay, not even a parent or a baby, let's say.
Yeah.
So he knows you. So, but he's a future parent.
Yeah.
Right?
When I started creating content, it was just, again, hunch. Kar lete, sab kar rahe hain. But what actually happened was that it actually changed me. It's not that, okay, something changed for my brand. It also changed me of how I looked at the customers. And it taught me the Instagram story. So a lot of founders today, a lot of brands are stuck building the Instagram because they don't know what actually happens. So when you actually start creating content for your own page, you learn a lot of things about Instagram itself. And Instagram is the whole ecosystem now. You can't ignore it. You cannot not be on Instagram, right?
Yes,
so we are anyway a brand built on Instagram. So that changed me a lot. And of course, even last month I was talking to my team and asking them that why am I even creating content? And most founders are following me or young kids are following me. And it's not giving me ROI as such, right?
Emotional discipline is rarely talked about when you're building a brand, right? How important it has been in your journey to be emotionally sound, because challenges come, sometimes, you get emotional about the business that you're doing. So how do you balance that, and how important has that been for you?
So I think most businesses or the best businesses are built on hope. This is my personal opinion, and people can tear it down.
Yeah.
But I feel if you do not have that vision that, okay, this will work, because nothing works in first attempt,
Right.
There's still tons of things we haven't done or we haven't been good at. And we still hope that, okay, we are going to turn this around. So yes, emotionally, I'm very attached to the business, but yes, it can have a dark side where you start overlooking things that need attention. But yeah, emotional intelligence is very important. I think you're also trying to talk a little bit about mental health.
Yeah, somewhat, because it takes new businesses or building a brand can take a toll on someone.
Absolutely.
There's so many things at stake: families, finance. So yes, it can take a toll mentally as well.
Right. I am very connected to my business emotionally, and I think having gone through this journey, a lot of ups and downs, a lot of mental health toll, like you said, finances, relationships. In our case, of course, we had the baby and the business born together. So, and then COVID. And so everything was very overwhelming. But I guess I needed to learn a lesson. I had a very comfortable life before this. And that also, helped me shape up into a much more stronger, mentally resilient person. And I think this is a journey everybody, at no matter what stage your business is, needs to go through, because that's how you toughen up.
Achha, tell me, for founders, people who are working with you, they're obviously looking up to you as a leader.
I hope.
True, yeah. And they would think that, you'd probably give them the right direction, and sometimes you don't have any clue what to do either, right?
Yeah.
So how do you balance that leadership while you don't know what's going to happen next?
Being smart and wanting to be smart, right? So there are many times, like you said, most of my team is Gen Z, and they'll sit across a table and ask me something which is completely wild for me as a millennial.
Mm.
What are you even, thinking? But I be honest with them that this is my way of thinking,
Mm.
and this is what I think you should do. Rest, of course, there are 100 ways of trying to sound smart and say something, but the idea is to help, right?
Mm.
And you can only help if you are honest about
Right.
what you know or what you feel.
Mm.
I can also look up and say, why don't you do this? Or, I heard of that person. So I am very straightforward and desi in a way,
Mm.
that, okay, this is what my Punjabi brain says, do this.
नहीं अच्छा है मतलब you're not taking too much pressure on yourself. पर मैंने ये देखा है ना आजकल जितने भी नए founders हैं they put a lot of pressure on themselves.
Yeah.
And that's where I think the wrong decision
Yep.
or wrong steps within the
Absolutely.
business
Absolutely.
surely happen.
Absolutely. There is a lot of misguidance about in our society as such. Of course, in the newer generation, it's even more. Is that by this time you got to be there. Like everybody feels that, okay, I'm 30, I got to be here. I'm 35, I'm going to be here.
Yeah.
And I think I have that superpower where I actually am very casual about it. I feel wherever I am, I'm supposed to be there. Of course, it could be a lazy way of thinking, but I feel I'm not under this pressure.
of
Okay,
proving
that
something.
I'm going to turn 40. What have I done with my life, right?
Mm.
So I just feel that when you don't have that pressure, and especially running a creative business, it just opens up your mind to many things, right? Like I am not chasing someone else's dream. I'm chasing my own. And, hard things take time.
भाई मेरे पड़ोसी ने ई क्लास ले ली तो मुझे भी लेनी है. That pressure, or I don't know what pressure would you call that? That's society
Yeah.
में सही दिखना या सक्सेसफुल दिखना या दिखने के लिए अपने ऊपर प्रेशर ले लेना. That I think creates a lot of stress
Yeah.
of people. ऐसे नहीं है तो भी कुछ जबरदस्ती कर लिया.
Yeah.
And that's surely a challenge, and I think that's more so in the younger generation.
Yeah.
Now that I see guys who are like 30, 35 or even 24, 25
Yeah,
nowadays,
all over.
all comparing
Yeah.
with
All the time. I think
someone on
it's the ultimate soft skill to have, and I am very proud to say this publicly. I have this skill from many years. I have the art of not giving a fuck. I do not care what you are thinking. Even you're my friend. Even I do not care. Of course, I care what you're thinking about me in that moment. But ultimately, when I zoom out, I do not really care of where I am, where Jay has reached, or where that friend has reached. A lot of my friends are doing extremely well, and probably started at the same time when I did. But never have I ever felt that I'm chasing something, or of course, mentally, we are all humans. We do compare. But I have that ability to tell myself that, okay, this is not, it doesn't matter. I have my own road, they have their own road. And I think this is a skill that one should master. And it's very difficult to master, especially in Northern India, where you're culturally brought up in a very competitive, in a very flashy world. And I somehow have turned out to be completely different. And I think, this is a great soft skill to have where you don't really worry about what others think.
No, it's a good thing you said that I don't really care of what others are thinking about me. But उससे मुझे एक बात याद आई. डॉक्टर विकास दिव्याकृति, आई थिंक कहीं पे लेक्चर देते थे. आई हर्ड इट ऑन यूट्यूब और समवेयर. ही सेड अ रियली नाइस कोट. ओके, आज की जनरेशन की प्रॉब्लम ये है, रादर पहले की भी होगी शायद, दैट आई एम नॉट व्हाट यू थिंक आई एम. आई एम नॉट व्हाट आई थिंक आई एम. I am what I think you think I am.
Okay.
Isn't that crazy and so true though? Yeah.
Deep. Absolutely.
Yeah, very deep.
So, we cook up this fascination in our head that person must be thinking.
Yeah.
Honestly, nobody is really thinking. Nobody's thinking. People think in a moment and they move to the next thing.
Yeah.
Nobody's sitting and thinking, Varun has done this, Varun done that. This was actually the first hurdle I sort of overcame when I started creating content. Because I remember you and I also had a word. So I said, log kya kahenge? And that was probably my first video. Ki logo, let them say. Nobody really cares.
Yes.
Honestly, nobody really cares. We just cook it up.
Yes. we think too much
Yeah,
about it.
yeah.
और फिर
And it's fascinating how we make that a hurdle in our life.
yeah.
You know, I mean, there are so many problems you're anyway dealing with, and then you come into this
Yes.
shitty problem. So I really feel this is my superpower where I really do not give a fuck.
That's fantastic. So your brand, seems to have been built with a lot of patience rather than urgency.
Mm.
So, and it looks like from what you're saying that it has been a conscious choice कि टाइम लगेगा,
Mm.
समय भाई 1 साल की जगह 2 साल लग जाएगा, बट उसको सही सलीके से लेके जाएंगे. आई मीन यस, यू हैड योर चैलेंजेस जहाँ पे सोचा कि भाई बंद ही करनी पड़ेगी,
बिल्कुल.
फिर शुरू करेंगे.
Yeah.
But from what you're saying, so I can gauge that you've kept a lot of patience, and that is one of the most important aspects of building any business. Forget a brand or
Yeah.
anything that you're doing. Even if it's just trading, you have to have that
Yeah.
patience.
Yeah.
Right. And that is what I think is the game changer.
Yeah.
But us patience may, it includes how you manage your finances.
Yeah.
How you take the pressure of the requirement that your family has, basically, or the societal society needs, or your parents, what they are thinking, what you're doing. So all this pressure that comes on with you and keeping that patience, that is I think only real life experiences, when you go through it, teaches you that. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. See, you talked about speed, right, and patience. So there are two different aspects. I'll be honest, I wish we could go faster, but I think speed comes with capital.
Yes.
Right. But the good side is that we've made a lot of mistakes which have costed us much lesser as compared to, let's say, if we were flushed with capital. But patience is the key, absolute key, right? Like sometimes, I'll deal with somebody, even in a family member, and they'll say, 5 saal ho gaye hain, like, what is happening? Right? Like, and where are you going? You're, let's say, stuck in a particular zone of revenue, right?
Yeah.
So, and then, you look at the people who've been there, done that. And, I personally have also seen a lot of, found the podcast when I started. And I remember, I don't remember who it was, but I remember that person saying that India में आप brand बना रहे हो ना, तो 10 साल लेके चलो. 10 साल बाद शायद आपकी दाल गली. So, that's always stuck with me. Of course, there are brands we see pop up in 6 months and do very well. But then you don't see the 999 that didn't. Right? So, there are always exceptions. But to build a brand, and especially in our category where we talked about trust, it takes time. Anybody who's becoming a new parent today is going to discover you the first time. It's not like a big brand that everybody's heard of, right?
Yeah.
You only hear of it when you need it. Like you said, no 24-year-old, maybe somebody saw my content.
Right.
But they're not going to search.
Yeah.
They won't be discovered by the algorithm either, because they're not in that pool
True.
of customers, right? So when they reach you first time, they want to see that depth. They want to see, अच्छा ये तो पुराना ब्रांड है, प्रीपे करेंगे तो आ जाएगा. ऐसा नहीं कि कुछ हो जाएगा, visible है. So I think and then patience also teaches you a lot of things that you would have probably missed if you were sprinting through.
So you feel that patience gives a lot more to the brand, more than speed. It obviously depends on the situation again. But
so
normally
I'll cut you short here, that I feel patience, you rightly said, gives a lot to the brand. Speed might give a lot to the business.
Yes.
So maybe your numbers really become extraordinary because you did it well, you executed fast. But patience gives you that brand value, how long you've been in the market, people have heard of you, you have a journey to talk about. You're not a new age brand that just came in with a lot of capital and, started selling. That could be a great business, nothing wrong with it. But I feel building brands are not built with money alone. They're built with time, so that's where I think patience comes in.
But nowadays, AI आ गया है, ठीक है? तो AI को business में use करना and सही तरीके से use करना, whether it is chatbots, or let's say, a bot replying to emails to consumers, because that's quick, right? Normally businesses India में ये करते हैं कि उस हर चीज के लिए किसी ना किसी को बिठा देते हैं, right? Human, they need human interference for that. But automating that system
Mhm.
has become very important. Have you started doing those things with your brand as well, using AI?
Yes. So with this year itself, of course, AI is fairly
Very
new.
new, yeah.
But what's really changed is that the adoption from the consumer side is also very quick.
Mm,
So probably a year back, if you'd asked me, get your chatbot on AI, do a photo shoot with AI,
Mm.
I would be apprehensive,
Mm.
assuming that customers do not want to engage with AI. I'm talking only about my business here.
Mm.
So, putting out a baby model, which is an AI model, wearing our clothes, I was actually apprehensive up till 3 months back as well. But over time, we have realized, and we've done lot of these surveys also with customers. Sometimes I randomly call up a customer and ask such weird questions also.
Mm.
That did you notice that,
Mm.
we are using AI? If
Mm.
you notice, what did you think of it?
Mm.
Said it's absolutely fine. So because it's traveled all over so fast, the adoption has
Mm.
happened that the consumer has now started accepting. So if you come to our website, we obviously have AI chatbots, we
Mm.
have AI email replies.
Right.
But I think the real business side of things for AI for us is having agents. So like I have a CMO, which is an AI.
Mm.
So it's giving me marketing insights
Yeah.
that probably I'll have to hire somebody otherwise.
Right.
I have again for MIS reporting or financial loopholes or
Right.
or where we could do more, right?
Mm.
And then of course there's so much AI in terms of tools that we use on our website. Where are you coming from? Are you coming for the second time? Are you coming for the fifth time?
Mm.
When you come for the first time, your communication to me is tailored in that way. Come for the fifth time, I'll probably give you a coupon code ki ab to le ja. And so a lot of use cases of AI within business, also like I said, for marketing, and it's only going to grow.
Yeah.
We had a team of 12, now we're a team of 5, and we're doubling our business this year. So
Mm.
that I think explains it.
Right. So मैं कल रात को I was playing around. Actually, I attended a seminar, a digital seminar with Siddharth Rajsekar.
Okay.
Brilliant guy.
Okay.
He was giving some input. So I went home last night. I was playing on with the AI, and within like 3 hours, I built a founder operating system.
Okay.
Which will have dashboard connected to our or my company's software system.
Okay.
Which it'll pull out sales data,
Yeah.
marketing data, who's going where, every person, what are they doing. There will be questionnaire checks. If I'm making a decision for something, I put that in, it'll ask me a few questions.
Yeah.
And give me an advice whether that is the right decision to make or not. Is this the right time or not? Finances are good or not?
Correct.
It'll have my finances connected. Everything is there.
Yeah.
And within like 2 or 3 hours, I was able to build that. It's almost ready. I'll probably finish it tonight.
Okay.
But it just
Blew
blew my mind
Yeah.
that I can do it like so easily.
See, there are tons of companies now that do this as a business. How do you bring in AI into a firm? Like we are probably a young new age company, young founder. We understand, of course, AI is vast, but we still are able to adopt quickly. But let's say it's a traditional business, family run business, maybe into manufacturing, 50-year-old business. So there are a lot of these startups now that actually say it's a great business to be.
Yeah.
They're actually implementing AI for you and cutting costs. Right? So that any businessman wants that.
Yeah. So Varun, आजकल ना success generally define होता है numbers and visibility से. So how do you define that personally for your business? And do you feel that that definition is actually correct?
So for me, defining success would be, as we go into this next 30, 40 years, would be very, I feel, don't want to say it's not non-monetary. Of course, nothing happens without money, but I think it's the freedom of choice, right? Like if I have been able to build a life where I am not owning anything that owns me, that is success for me. I don't know if that summed up well, but I think we are all making money to buy time.
Right.
That is my simple understanding of success, right?
Yes.
I think we tied Usually people tie it up the other way around. They get so much more tied up as they make more and more money that you
Yes.
don't really even actually, you may be successful to the
But
society,
you don't have time.
but in your own heart, if you do not have time for yourself, for your children, your family, whatever, even travel, whatever it may be, it could be learning a new sport, it could be anything, right? But if you have not cracked that, then what good is that money?
True.
Right.
I agree.
That doesn't go away that you have to work nights and days, everything is there. But when we are talking about success, I'm hoping we are discussing eventually what do you want to get out of it, right?
Yeah, of course.
So for me, like I said, anything that I own should not be owning me.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's very nicely put. Okay, so what are your future plans?
Of course, business is important, but it's to build a brand out of it, right?
Right.
So our first step was to go digital, which we have sort of, acquired some space there. I won't say we've done crazy, but we have made move in the right direction, and it's growing substantially on that side. The second step is where we want to go into, shop in shops or MBOs or whatever you call it, and you want to be available in the retail side.
Right.
And the third step is obviously having your own, retail front.
Correct.
Which is the larger vision I have for our brand, where I feel, India is very underserved when it comes to brands, and it is highly underserved when it comes to kids wear. Right. So you're a dad yourself. I can ask you, and you will not be able to name 5 brands, right?
Yeah, true.
So it's that underserved. Like you'll only say something like a First Cry or a Mother Care, right? So that was the initial idea of building a brand from India, literally for the world. I may be overstepping here, but that's the 5-year vision where we'd probably want to have, let's say 100+ stores within India and be available or have some sort of footprint even globally.
So when do you think you'll start going in to the retail market?
I think another 24 months, 18 to 24 months.
Okay.
We have it chalked out. It's not that we haven't planned.
Okay.
But building a retail business requires, and I have experience there from my family business, as you know, it requires heaps of capital. It requires a strong team. It requires, so the only reason I keep giving it time is that because we have not reached that stage where I feel comfortable that, okay, we have probably done something digitally. Now we will get that response. Retail. And most brands die when they go into retail, right? So that's why the middle step where we go into MBOs, shop in shops, we're in talks with a lot of, shopper stops and these kind of companies that want to entertain brands like us now. But yeah, of course, we're in talks with raising capital. We're in talks with some investors. So like we discussed, speed is capital. So, as we are able to progress in that direction, we'll probably be able to go into retail by next 18 to 24 months. We have done some, we have tested waters. I am not aware if you know, we have actually put up monthly shops in Select City Walk, certain malls.
Yes.
And we have got a fantastic response, right? Like, and I've actually stood there all day talking to customers, seeing what's happening. So that was the idea, right? To see how people react. And, we'd see customers come in and say, oh, मैंने देखा है, online देखा है brand को, right? So that gives you small bits of confidence that, okay, you're not entering the market as a new brand altogether. You have some digital footprint.
Right.
And then it's obviously, that's the idea of omni-channel, right? Where you both win, both sides win, because somebody sees it offline, goes online, and somebody sees online, goes offline. And of course, going physically to stores, finding out people on LinkedIn who are involved with that side, connecting with them, connecting with their content. So, nothing happens by being lazy or by sending, I'm this big company. You're not a big company. Otherwise, they'd be searching for you. Right?
Correct.
So you have to drop that ego and you have to go out saying that this is what I've done. This is my website. You can check. And of course, your numbers help. So somebody opens their Instagram and says, okay, you have 170,000 followers. They'll probably change your perception even if they didn't hear. Then they look at the founder page. So slowly these things also help in building a business, right? So that would be my approach.
There is a new founder who's trying to build a brand in the similar category like yours. What would be your one piece of advice to those people?
To every founder, my one piece of advice, and I feel this is the most missing thing I see in young founders, and of course, सारे ऐसे नहीं हैं, there are exceptional people, is to get your hands dirty as fast as possible. I think people enter these online businesses and they think clothing brand बनाऊंगा, factory से माल उठाऊंगा, but they're really not doing the dirty things. So by dirty things, I mean you literally have to do things like count inventory, sometimes go into factories,
Yeah.
sometimes help with packing. Like I have actually packed orders. Even today I'm happy to pack orders because I am that person who does a lot of things. जैसे हम हिंदी में बोलते हैं हाथ का काम.
Wow.
So I feel that not only is very inspiring for your team and for yourself also that you've done something, but also teaches you a lot of nitty gritty things, right? So now in my business, I know everything. Like I haven't done some things for years, but I know how it works. And that gives me the power to challenge the person who's at that seat.
Right.
That why didn't you not take this approach,
Yeah.
right? Otherwise, I would be the person that, okay, he'll say software mein nahi ho raha. And I'll say, acha, nahi ho raha. And that would be it, right?
Yeah.
So now I actually have done things of how to set up an SKU on the software, to actually how to run an ad, and then of course shooting content, writing content, gone into factories, actually sat there for hours, been at late nights into factories, gone into, like we were discussing, even gone to China to understand fabric, spend a lot of time with no ROI as such, but just learning the art, right? Like if you do not know what you're selling, if you do not know the nitty-gritties of things, especially sourcing fabric, etc., how will you ever convince your customer?
True. No, I agree with you. Because हमारे एक family friend है, and they have a huge factory, it's a ceramic factory, and their sons, and children rather, came back from US, someone from London, पढ़ के अच्छे से वापस आए, उन्हें लगा जी साहब बन के बैठेंगे. But the beautiful thing was कि उनको कहा गया कि भाई पहले 3 महीने मशीन मैनेजर के साथ जाके खड़े हो जाओ,
बिल्कुल,
कि वो क्या कर रहे हैं, कैसे माल डाल रहे हैं, कैसे निकल रहा है, आपको वो देखना है. उसके बाद आप फैक्ट्री मैनेजर के साथ बैठोगे 3 महीने, उसके बाद आप 3 महीने अपना प्लांट मैनेजर के साथ बैठोगे, उसके बाद आप 3 महीने किसी और. तो दे ट्रेन्ड देम फॉर अबाउट 2.5 years और समथिंग, 3 महीने हर डिपार्टमेंट में.
How awesome.
And by the time they came up to the offices where they could make decisions, they knew exactly कहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है, क्या गलती है, क्या सही करना है.
Absolutely.
So nobody can tell them कि भैया ये ऐसे नहीं हो सकता, ऐसे होगा.
Usually it's the other way around. बाबूजी आ गए और सीट पे बैठ गए और काम चला रहे हैं. But the smart people are doing this, and of course now there are even companies that are helping you plan succession.
Yes.
Even they train you this way.
Yes.
They'll probably sit you down in a lower. Doesn't have to be the lowest, but somewhere you start understanding the business. So I feel building a business is a lot more about understanding the culture, understanding the fabric of your team, and then you're able to execute better.
But you see, वो जहाँ पे वो नीचे से ट्रेन होके ऊपर तक आए, by the time they are where they are supposed to be, you have to understand that every factory worker knows them.
Yeah.
Okay. And the respect is even much more कि आप सीधा आके नहीं बैठे, आप हमारे साथ काम करके ऊपर गए.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल. As a founder or any entrepreneur, it's all about how you bring out the best with your team, right? So someone in my team, and you got to be diplomatic. So I know what button to twist for this person to bring out the best in him, right? And that I'll only know when I know him, when I spend time with him. So we're a small team right now, but everybody operates differently, and I know them very much personally, even their families. I mean, I don't interact with their families, but I know what's going on in their life. So the idea of knowing that is because I'm able to then, I won't say manipulate, but I'm able to bring out the best in each one of them in my own way because I know them, right? So I sometimes will be spending a lot of time in the warehouse. I'll just take my laptop and just literally work from there and ask them, what is your challenge? Kya aa raha hai? It could be a small insight ki packing nahi theek ya packaging nahi theek. If we reduce the size by 1 centimeter, we can actually save 10 rupees on shipping. Is actually an insight that came from sitting with my warehouse guy, right? So sometimes you find such gold mines in these small insights just because you took that liberty of going and sitting with that person. Or you could be this other person who's like, I'm a rich founder, I don't need anybody, I'll hire a CEO or I'll hire a senior person who will manage. Of course wo stage bhi aata hai, but I think when you're building, we are in a very nascent building stage. You got to be aware of everything.
Right, absolutely. It's true. Great, Varun. It was a great conversation with you.
Lovely.
And I'll hope that you scale up your brand the way you're thinking,
Mm.
and wishing you the best for it.
Thank you.
I'll see you soon again.
Thank you.
All right, man.